Hello class, my name is Dwayne. In reference to video discussion 1, I'd like to start off with talking about how we have mixed feelings about the hiring process within public safety. Anybody who's been in public safety for a while has most likely seen that firsthand. When it comes down to an agency hiring someone who either meets the standard or exceeds the standard, it's an overall benefit to the agency, including the officer, other entities within the municipality, for instance, as well as the community. When we hired that new officer, they're going to bring some things to the agency that most likely we already have, but they're going to enforce those things, such as um, overall positivity, serving the community professionally, just being an officer that the agency is proud to have. When that process goes wrong and agencies hire someone that really wasn't a good hire, I think it's important to note that there's inherent risk that can stem from that, such as civil and criminal liability to the agency. It can also create stress inside the agency from all levels, make employees feel like they're either uncertain about the process or their beliefs aren't supported, all of which could affect a plethora of issues, primarily one being low morale. A key takeaway that I took from the book is that the hiring decision should be based on job responsibilities, not personal preferences. This ensures that there is a fair process that focuses on what the position requirements are. The hiring process can be challenging for both recruiters and applicants, often feeling slow, composed of numerous steps, such as backgrounds, interviews, testing, all of which protect the agency and foster public trust. And it mitigates, again, inherent risk. Diversity in hiring is critical. I believe it should encompass more than just race or ethnicity. We want to have diverse personnel, ranging from age, life experience, communication styles, cultural backgrounds, subcultural backgrounds. Everybody can bring something to the table that we currently don't have. An example of that would be in the city that I work at, we have a heavy Hispanic population. Not all of us speak Spanish, so we're not bilingual, but we have plenty of officers that are. I can think of a number of cases or calls that I responded to where I, quite frankly, couldn't really communicate with the subjects that I was speaking with and interviewing, and then a bilingual officer arrived on scene, and he was able to assist with the process throughout. So just his level of diversity and his communication and language speaking abilities was a major benefit, not only to the citizen, the call that I was particularly responding to, but the agency as well. However, it's important to note that diversity does not compromise standards. We have to maintain a high standard. In the event that you're in a population where there's heavy Spanish speakers, for instance, and if we have a candidate who speaks Spanish, but he's lacking in other standards, we shouldn't suppress those standards in order to gain a resource of his communication abilities. He's either going to have to meet the standard and bring some additional resources that we don't have in order to be overall beneficial. Criteria should be connected to job duties. With that being said, there could be some flexibility based on the community and the command's intent. However, again, we should never let flexibility deviate us from a baseline standard. In regards to hiring connections, personal relationships should not outweigh merit. Being transparent and having a competitive process must maintain the formality to ensure fairness for all applicants. Prime example, I have a friend that I talked into applying at an agency that I worked at. He got hired on, and I noticed that I even had some bias towards that friend versus other candidates. Needless to say, the friend that got hired on decided to go to another agency, but it was one thing that I experienced firsthand. Not to say that I would deviate from the standard, but nonetheless, I think it would be an easy, just quite frankly, an easy thing to do. In summary, a clear and structured selection process protects everybody involved at all levels, even beyond just the immediate agency. Sister agencies within, the municipality or whatever style of government that you work in. Good hiring practices, they do fill vacancies. However, they fill those with qualified candidates. They promote professionalism, they reduce officer burnout in the long run, and overall, the agency is going to benefit. The last thing we want to have is a situation where we have a workforce or an agency that is lacking in a number of standards and violating policy because our focus was filling positions. A mentor of mine said he would rather be understaffed and overworked with qualified and respected officers than have all positions fulfilled and not being able to trust his counterparts. I believe that's paramount for success. Thank you.